Good evening, KZFR. This is Write.onair. Write.onair is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Payroll Plus, payroll and human resource experts for any size business. Owner Dolly Wendell and her staff can solve your payroll, workers' comp, group health insurance, employee benefits, and human resource management needs. In these times of changing employee compliance and tax laws, professional assistance is a must. Dolly at Payroll Plus can be reached by calling 566-0452 and can set your mind at ease. Well, how's everyone doing tonight? Thanks, Sue, for coming by, and I hear she's running for something or something like that. What was that, Natalie?
I don't know.
Board
of Supervisors? Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Mysterious
Board of
Ghost
Supervisors.
Voice.
That's so crazy. Right on. See you later, Sue. Good show. Well, tonight we have a lot of pretty cool stuff. Natalie's here, as you just heard. And before...
Again. No.
Before we get started, I have some cool news that I want to share with everyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm super stoked about this because I helped coordinate this, which was neat. For those of you who have listened to the show regularly, I am a really big fan of Ursula K. Le Guin. She passed away, I believe it was last January. But prior to that, a girl by the name of Arwen Curry, a woman by the name of Arwen Curry, and her crew made a documentary about her entire life and her writing and all that stuff, and it is fantastic. I've had the pleasure of seeing it, but it is coming to town this Sunday, July 21st at 7 p.m. At the Pageant Theater, and it is definitely worth watching. For those of you who didn't know, her father was named Alfred Kroeber, I believe, and he was the one who the anthropologist that met with Ishi, which we know here because that's a lot of historical background. Yeah. Not to mention she's just fantastic. So July 21st, 7 p.m. Sunday at the Pageant Theater.
Isn't there something like the first 20 paid admissions get a zine that's 2 by Le Guin?
Hey, this is right here. Yeah, the first 20 paid admissions will receive a free copy.
It's your thing, man.
Yeah, I didn't know. The first 20 paid admissions will receive a free copy of 2 by Le Guin. That's the number 2 by Le Guin. This zine collects 2 classic short stories by Le Guin, The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas and The Day Before the Revolution, courtesy of Blackbird Bookstore and Cafe. So please stop by, support this, watch it. It's a very informative, very touching documentary. So Sunday, July 21st, 7 p.m., Pageant Theater. Okay, what else have I missed?
No, I was going to read this letter that I got. I got an exciting letter. I do something occasionally called the North Valley Prisoner Support Letter Writing Project. And I believe they're holding it at Blackbird now, since we just mentioned them. Yeah. And I recently got a letter back from a prisoner named Nina Dros Franco. She's a political prisoner. She was arrested May 1st, 2017 in Puerto Rico. And she wrote me back, and I wanted to share it because letter writing is a form of writing, and I'd encourage anyone who engages in that to come on here if you have anything you want to share.
Before we start that, what was the reason she was so political?
Prisoner,
yeah. But what was...
For protesting, the charges ended up being starting a fire or something, starting a bank on fire.
Wow.
But it was a large crowd of people.
Okay.
I'm not taking sides.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. I just wanted to know. So, her letter.
So she wrote, "Hello, Natalie. I'm doing fine. And you? The you changed the world. Thank you for such an amazing story and such a pretty picture. Life is more than just eat, sleep, poop, and die. Be fearless, be brave, change the world. Revolutionary greetings, Nina."
How cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So sometimes they send the letters back because prisoners get transferred and whatnot. But this is something that I think Anthony Peyton Porter was talking about, too, that he had been involved in. And
yeah,
he was a previous guest on the show and is involved in something called Alternatives to Violence, which they actually go into prisons and work with prisoners and write and do really wonderful things.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's a pretty cool little letter.
Yeah, I was super excited.
How neat. What was her name again? Just so we know.
Nina Dros Franco.
Nina Dros Franco. Well, thank you, Nina. I'm not sure if you're listening, but if you are, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay. It's called Siege. This I do, being mad, gather baubles about me, sit in a circle of toys, and all the time, death beating the door in. White jade and an orange pitcher, Hindu idol, Chinese god. Maybe next year when I'm richer, carved beads in a lotus pod. And all this time, death beating the door in. Are you a Millay fan?
I haven't heard much by her, right? Her?
Her, yeah.
Okay. I don't think so. I haven't heard much about it, but this is a really kind of a touching one, a little bit haunting.
Yeah.
Waiting for the death to come through the door.
Yeah, and then all the idols and the different religions mixed in there, which I think is really... that one always struck me because it's very different from a lot of her works, very formulaic in that she's the sonnet queen. And this one does follow a rhyme scheme, but it kind of trails off and does its own thing, especially in the beginning. And there's something about carved beads in a lotus pod and mentioning that kind of wording in the time that she was from. I believe this one was written around the 20s. I can't say for sure, but just even mentioning that kind of thing in your writing at that time is pretty unheard of.
Do you have a backstory on this particular piece?
No, I don't. And this is one where I've tried to look it up. This wasn't one that you'll find like in an English class. This isn't one that you'll look at, but this is a beautiful poem by her.
Yeah. Does it mention something about, because I don't have it in front of me, childhood? Being in like childhood toys or baubles?
Yeah, gather baubles about me. Sit in a circle of toys, and all the time death beating the door in. But the toys are white jade and an orange pitcher, a Hindu idol, a Chinese god.
Wow. Man, that's one I would love to dive into pretty
Yeah,
deeply.
I know. It's amazing.
It has some really intense stuff.
Yeah.
This weird, I like the cross of the themes there between this like childhood theme versus like a really intense like death theme. And yeah, those are really interesting little baubles to have to discuss.
She's the person I believe who coined the phrase, I burn my candle at both ends.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Well, she
read her work.
Clearly
incredible.
Clearly was doing that here. By the way, before we move on, this is your second show, part 2. Welcome back.
Of my writing.
Your writing. So thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We're doing whatever Natalie wants tonight.
Yeah. Originally, I was going to come on and try and read a story about my grandfather, but that one has been really hard to write. He was a complicated man, and I really want to honor him well, but also not be... I want to be honest about who he was. And so it's taking me a little extra time.
Quality takes time.
Well, it isn't even so much about quality. It's about, like, he was a difficult character. And he was a real person, and I want to do him justice, but not too much where he isn't human. Needs
some processing time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
We'll have a part 3.
Yeah.
Or however many you want.
Yeah. So I'm just reading poetry tonight.
Yeah. What was her name again? Just so we know.
Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Edna St. Vincent Millay. Cool.
Yeah. And she has a great story, too. She has a series of letters herself that are written to an editor. It's a whole book you can read. Tells you all about her life.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd for her.
Yeah, no, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so the first poem I'm going to read is called The Womb. Somewhere in between the amniotic fluidity of my Egyptian cotton duvet, set to the heartbeat of a white noise machine, I'm smothering in the darkness of a womb I recreate. The walls of my studio are the ribs of mother. They creak and ache, wishing I would call. Ribs grown tired, ribs designed to push me out. I kick the wall, wonder if she felt it. I dance in my sheets like an ultrasound, though I know no one has been watching me for a while now. The light of life is peeking somehow through a gape in curtains. I can see it. From darkness, fluidity, from the heartbeat and from the womb, I'm reborn each day to something new.
I have a backstory about this piece for you. I remember when you read this at a poetry reading a long time ago, and that was where
I was like, you do?
I think I first met you there, and we talked about being on the show, I believe, from this piece.
It was after my first show on here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, after. Okay,
and you and Brandon came to the bookstore.
Yes, and I remember I liked it because I love the use of amniotic fluids.
Yeah.
I was like, that stuck out to me the second you read that again. It was a very, very good piece.
Did I even tell you what it was about then?
Waking up. Wasn't it?
It is. It's about living alone. I lived alone in a really small studio that could be... I lived there for 3 years in like an alleyway, and so it felt very unsafe. And so it's about trying to make yourself feel like you are somewhere safe, and the safest place I could think of would be the womb.
Right.
So everything kind of becomes this sort of extension of that idea.
Yeah.
The amniotic fluidity of a duvet cover. The white noise is a heartbeat, which I actually had a white noise machine to try and block out, like really horrible sounds outside, which if you are a baby, I mean, that's pretty much the sound you hear. You can hear muffled sounds outside, but mostly you can hear heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
safe sounds.
Yeah.
Sounds that are comforting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this piece. I like this one a lot.
Thank you. It's from, and I always talk this up, a lot of the poems I read on here are from One Day Poem Club. And that one, I can't remember what the actual prompt was. It's always a word and an image. But I think it was something like, reborn.
Yeah.
That was the word.
I was trying to think of it too.
Yeah.
Reborn. Huh. What was the title of that one?
The Womb.
The Womb.
Yeah.
Appropriate. Very appropriate. Cool.
This next one is called Atlas Retold, and it's actually a reworking of something that I did for Watershed Review. We did these things called broadsides, and so I found this old poem I'd written, and I kind of played around with it a bit, so this is the first time I'm reading it. Atlas Retold. This clarity so bittersweet, I let it roll around a rusted silver tongue, spitting silence at the vicious ones. For my neck has never been so bold to hold my head so high. Forgiveness chinked the marble, anger chipped away, it cracks. Once I decided I was no Atlas, no head carrying of the world, no hurt carrying on in my head, no nothing weighing down my back. Once I decided I was no Atlas, I was free.
I really dig this piece. This is cool. Once I decided I was no Atlas, I was free.
Yeah.
That's a solid ending.
Yeah.
Man.
Ugh, it reminds me of a really icky time in my life. But
once you let go.
At the time, I'd written that line from my neck has never been so bold to hold my head so high.
Yeah.
Because I'd been in a really bad place with some crappy friends. And so the ending originally has that line, but it's said 3 times. And I can't remember. I know there's something where if you repeat it in poetry, there's a term for that. The repetition of a specific line, and I can't remember what it's called, but I had it in there, and it was I am free, I am free, I am free. But now going back to it and writing it from this place of I'm not that angry anymore, I'm not that hurt by people around me, I'm a little more cautious, but also like it really did feel like I was carrying the weight of the world, and it was breaking me.
It has a good sense of release to it. I like this piece a lot.
Yeah, it was interesting to find it. I was like, what the heck?
I'm going to lean over real quick, and I want to check it. One line on there stood out to me. I want to see if I can find it real quick.
Sure.
We're sharing documents here.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on
I
one
should have
second.
printed it.
No worries. This is just as easy. Spitting silence at the vicious ones.
Yeah, that one I wrote like less than an hour ago.
Oh, well, perfect. There we go. Editing in real time.
Yeah.
I like that one. Spitting silence at the vicious ones.
Yeah. Thank you. Because
Yeah.
I just wrote that.
That's the one that really, I don't know, that when you read that piece, I got chills. It was a good part.
Yeah.
Well, what's your next one?
This one's called My Goldilocks. A single strand of human hair holds in it particles of gold, whose weight I negotiate one night over a bathroom sink. Taking a razor to my scalp, I unlock the door to a double helix history, freeing my mind with cuts that do not bleed. Blackened tumbleweeds fall to my feet, making a bed for the past to lay, as 3 bears return home to rest on, my neck, my face, my scalp. In the morning, Mother will find my naked head beneath the sheets, and she'll cry for all she thinks I've lost, never aware of what I've found.
The part that really like linchpinned it for me was with cuts that do not bleed.
Yeah.
That is a solid piece. Is it obviously about cutting your hair, I would imagine?
Shaving my head.
Shaving your head.
Which I've done like 3 times now.
Wow.
And a lot of it is I need some, I think it's like a tradition in India or something too, where you shave your head when someone dies.
Yeah.
And I had this thing because when I was a kid, I had alopecia. I got so nervous about something that was going on that my hair fell out.
Wow.
And so it never really meant that much to me. It was never a symbol of virility or beauty to me. And so when I would get in these place where I just needed a change or it felt like I needed to shed skin, I didn't want to hurt myself or self-harm or do something that, really cried for attention. And you would think like shaving your head, yeah, you're just trying to get attention. But to me, it was exactly that. I'm freeing myself from this chain that's been around me. And the idea of like, your hair means so much. It's so beautiful. But then I went through this really traumatic experience of losing it, that every time that I chose to willingly give it up, it just felt so good.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a really big, how do I put it? I guess icon in society is hair, especially with females. So like that's a big stance to take, to be like, no, I'm going to take the power back and just change it myself.
I've never understood it either. I mean, even since I was little, prior to that happening, I've had my hair short. Like, I don't know, was it China Phillips from Wilson Phillips was like my hero when I was 6. And so I got my hair cut short at 6 years old. And even then, having long hair has never been a symbol of beauty to me. I mean, on other people, sure. I think, wow, your hair is beautiful. But I don't ever think I need that.
To each their own. I like the line right after, I think it's right after With Cuts That Do Not Bleed, how your mother was like, no.
Yeah, she really was. She really did cry too, really? Which was probably the hard part.
Really?
The first time that I shaved my head. But she just wanted to make sure that I was okay.
Yeah, that it wasn't
It was like a week before Britney Spears did it too.
Okay. Well, glad you did it before.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. It was like right then, and then I didn't feel like people would understand. I
could also see, to go back on the India thing, I could see how that's like a sense of rebirth. Mm-hmm. You know, just a clean slate and then regrowing again.
Yeah. And I know a few people that do that too. Mostly guys, but women do it, especially when they're traveling and hiking.
I could see that, yeah. For other reasons, safety reasons maybe.
Yeah.
And for just, honestly, convenience.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about your hair. It's nice. That's a good piece.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on. Let's do it.
Just plugging along here.
Yeah.
Things to do with a box. Wear 2 as shoes. Construct a Christmas tree. Build a fort, house, or cardboard mansion, depending on your situation. Package yourself inside, ship it anywhere else. Cram that effort full of your bad feelings. Redefine social parameters. Escape boxes society tries putting you in. Conversely, comfortably slip into your neat, prepackaged self. No one has time to care about what you do. Don't use the box as a sled, just use the sled the box was holding for you. Don't use any of those ugly emotions you keep stored in there either. Build yourself a romantic partner, build yourself a friend. But never forget, no matter what you do with this life, you wind up boxed away in the end.
I like the I guess the pattern that this piece took, where it was light, and then it goes down into like a heavier, kind of like opening a box and getting inside of it, and then it comes back to a positive, where you're like, but you know, we have a nice uplifting theme here at the end.
I wouldn't say the ending is uplifting.
Okay, it was uplifting to me.
I originally had you end up in a box.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In the end.
That would
like never forget you're gonna die anyway, no matter what you do.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, remember we had Isaac on here and we were talking about positive nihilism. That's kind of my approach to life. Is I know I'm gonna die, but also I don't care anymore about trying to impress people or trying to fit into these neat packages, and not in a cliche way where I'm going so outside the norm that I'm trying to stand out either. Just that it doesn't ultimately matter in the end, because we're all going to the same place.
Yeah, there's a theme between these pieces so far.
Yeah.
A theme of
a
standing up for yourself, I think.
Yeah, that and I'm not so mad as I was, because some things happen which I won't go into. Life, yeah. Great word for it. But I'm not so mad anymore. I just kind of laugh now at the things both I get upset at and other people choose to get upset at too.
Well, you're no longer Atlas in your mind.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. Feels good.
Yeah, and you're not in a box.
No, well,
we're going down the list.
Sometimes boxing things in is a safe thing to do, and it can help you. And I do that sometimes. I'm like, well, I need to categorize you so I can place you in my mind.
Process later.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, you know, this person's dangerous because they've got a bat and they're walking through a library, and that's not normal.
Right.
Like, that's categorizing somebody as a threat.
True.
You know, and that's fine. But also, you know, be aware that you do that with everything you look at, and question those assumptions you make and boxes you place around people and even around yourself. which is the most terrifying thing you can do, but it can be rewarding.
Weigh the moment, I guess is the term there.
Yeah.
See what is dictated, needed.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep rolling.
All right. This is called Tool for Sharpening the Senses. Sadness takes to the dull blade of reality, sharpening everything. Comes with the winter wind to take your breath away, if you'll only let it in and out just to take your breath away. I always taste it in the salt of my tears, falling on my tongue, caught like a chill like when I was a child, chasing snowflakes. It's a different kind of joy now. And I feel it in the embers of pain setting in my bones for the memory of a touch I never sought, now I hide from. No one's bothered to hold me for a long, long time. I see it so frequently in the blanketed people roaming the streets in their endless invisibility, a patchwork of wallflowers growing up the stoops, like a garden sprung early without sunlight, saying, "Here we are."
Wow, unpack this one a bit for me. I think there's a lot to this, and I don't want to misspeak on anything.
Oh crap! I missed a stanza.
You want to reread it?
Yeah.
Poke it in there. Go for it.
Well, I'll read the last stanza.
Okay.
I see it so beautiful in the sadness that surrounds me, this light and listless joy of things we can no longer ignore. When the sun goes away and the people stay, wandering to and fro till return of spring.
Okay. Now unpack this for us.
Okay. This is why I hate reading from a computer.
No worries.
Yeah, this one I wrote in the winter time after doing a lot of work with Safe Space and with the shelter, the temporary shelter we had after the fire, and then East Avenue Church, that's where it was. And then just seeing people around town, because I work downtown, nonstop, getting to know who these people are, and then seeing myself in them so much because of where I come from, what I've lived through, that I started to get really mad in my depression, but also sort of joyous in the fact that other people around me were finally starting to notice something was wrong in this town. And I felt this kind of satisfaction, not smugness, just satisfaction that you can see it now. It takes awful things for you to see it, but you can see it. And I feel a sense of relief and joy, and also a connection to the people wandering around in circles. Like I would watch somebody in the rain walk circles around a block because they had nowhere to go. And I just felt like this is so painful to watch. It's physically painful and hurtful. And it also, I don't know, it just really hit me this last year, especially in the winter, seeing that and then listening to people talk about how this is the new normal. I'm like, this has been our normal for a long time now. People not having homes, people not having a place to go. And I've seen it for years now, and I felt it.
We might be having an emergency broadcast. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. Sorry for the interruption. We'll just let this play out for a second, and then I'll comment on this. I'm not sure if anyone can hear that over the air, and I would ask you guys, but it's kind of hard for you to respond. We're just waiting patiently. All right, I'm going to interrupt it, and hopefully nothing interrupts me.
Oh, I hope everything's okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so if you didn't hear that, we just had what sounded like an emergency broadcast, but I'm not sure if anything came from it, so hopefully everything's fine. And if you didn't hear it, we promise we're not crazy. We heard it in here. I really do enjoy that this piece has a feeling of like the cyclical nature that you're talking about. Like every year it's been the same thing. At the end there when it says winter again, was that the last line? Something about
when the sun goes away and the people stay wandering to and fro.
Yeah,
till the return of spring.
The sense of it's just happening again and again.
Exactly.
It's a really.
But everyone's surprised like it's brand new.
Yeah, but not. It's just.
No offense, everyone. I'm just I'm so frustrated.
It's your social critique. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we have time probably for one more. I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I have some questions for you. Put you on the spot again.
Oh no. Okay, I'm going to read this last one. It's from my brother-in-law who passed away. I'd read another one called Sugar Skull on a previous show, and I was hoping to have time to read both, but I don't. So this one's called Resting Place. I roam campus in the rain, amassing carcasses of leaves on my docks. Like a tree, I'm shaking off the memory of the brother who's passed away. The sun streams through a cloud break, turning my eyes to death. Is that you? I say to nothing, souls wedged in the spaces in the walkway, where there's a name tag stuck to slick cement. Hello, my name is James, it says. No, this is you, stuck to my shoe, a name and a face forever burned in my mind.
The souls stuck in, what was that line again? In the cracks?
Souls wedged in the spaces in the walkway.
Oh, man. Whew, that one's haunting too. Okay, unpack for us.
Yeah, I was technically being haunted by this person that passed away in my real life. I actually had forgotten that he passed away. Too much was happening at the time that my brain did this thing. When I was told that my brother-in-law James had passed away from a drug overdose, I didn't remember. And then when I was walking around town, strange things would happen, like I would see a name tag stuck on the cement or something, and it was like this, I would get this weird feeling in my brain like I was trying to tell myself something, but I didn't know what I was trying to tell myself until finally one day a man who looked just like him walked up to me to ask me for $1, and then I realized that he couldn't possibly be here because he's dead. And then I just started crying to this stranger who was clearly not James, but
Right.
who finally my brain could process the fact that he had passed away.
Yeah.
And this was during a time where I'd gone through a miscarriage and lost another member of my family. My dog died, and then this was like my brain did this amazing thing, which I now think is really cool, where it just said, no, I'm not going to hold on to this memory for you till you're ready for it. And it took almost a year, actually a year and a month after he passed away, for me to be able to recognize that he was actually dead. So this poem was written from an actual walking around Chico State campus, just trying to remind myself that this person was gone, and seeing a name tag with his name on it stuck to the ground.
Processing grief in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we're at the end of our show, Natalie.
Okay. Thank God.
Sorry for the abrupt ending there. Thank you for your pieces. These are really good.
Yeah.
I've heard probably a couple of these, but there was some that I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
I like your work. It's very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before we go, I'm going to read it again because I want to. Ursula K. Le Guin coming to town. Well, she isn't, but her documentary by Arwen Curry will be at Pageant Theater Sunday, July 21st at 7 p.m. That's this Sunday. Any words from you, Natalie? Anything you want to say?
No.
Cool. Thanks
Good
for
night,
coming. Yeah,
Chico.
sorry. We're skipping out on your questions tonight. You're getting away free.
Yay.
Well, have a good night, everyone, and I'll take us out. This has been Write.on Air on KZFR 90.1. Write.on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Harrison Daly Wright Accountancy Corporation in Chico. Harrison Daly Wright, specializing in accounting and bookkeeping services, auditing, tax preparation and planning, and management support services for nonprofit organizations and more. To reach Harrison Daly Wright, call 895-1209. Have a good night, everyone.